Hello, my name is Carole. Welcome to my sewing room and my channel Sew Carole. Hello if I've never met you before. This video is going to be the results of a collab I did with one of my sewing besties across the pond over in Canada, Izzy from Dizzy Quilts and Sews. Now, I'm lucky enough that I've actually met Izzy a couple of times, even though we are very far apart. And I just love her. She is so talented, and I've done a couple of collabs with her and they're never very successful, so we're almost thinking that we're jinxing each other every time I suggest it. So this time it was kind of my fault and it was my suggestion, and that was the Evanston vest from Love Notions. So as you will have seen a lot all around YouTube, I think the pattern, I think it was just after Christmas, it was reduced. It was a new pattern and it was heavily reduced. So I jumped on board and I messaged Izzy and I said, hey Izzy, do you fancy doing like a really quick collab with me to make up one of these vests? And she said yes straight away. She's always wanted that kind of item in her wardrobe. Now, I did have something like that, but I'll come back to that later on because I had actually forgotten I had made anything like it. So I'll put a picture up of the Evanston vest because I don't actually have it. So I don't print it off. All I do, it's PDF, and if you've been with me a while, you know I don't like PDFs, but I printed it off because it's Love Notions and it's all really easy to do. But I never print off the instructions. So, oh, that's why I put the stock photo in. So, printed it all off, decided I wanted to make the version that is so it's open fronted, short version. So you've got the sleeve bands and it's button front. Okay, so I've seen lots of really successful ones on the internet. I've seen other channels doing it. Some of my great friends have made them. Right, so let's start with what fabric I used for this. I ordered some fabrics from First for Fabrics in the UK, and it's this lovely spongy, soft, super stretchy fabric. It's lovely. It's soft. It's quite thick. Even one layer. Sorry, these are my marking dots where I mark left and front and back, and yeah, right side, wrong side, and they just appear on everything. So yeah, I ordered that. Absolutely lovely fabric. Really pleased. But obviously I began to, as I started sewing it, it was getting thicker. But I'll come back to that in a minute. So, problems I had with the pattern. So I intended to put pockets on it. Even though I'm doing the short version, and probably pocket suits the longer version better, I had seen a couple of pictures on the Love Notions actual website of their makers that have tried the patterns, and the pockets look good. So I did make the pockets. As you can see, they're not on there. I do have a comment. Now, I made up a size extra small. And I have to say, their pocket placement, I mean, I know you can decide where you want to put them, entirely up to you, but their pocket placement is the same for every single size. Either that, or it's just a guide. Because if I had put my pocket on that, can you see where that line ends? So you've got the top of the pocket. That line would end literally a couple of centimetres away from the side seam. So you can't have pockets there. And anyway, I would have had to put my hands in my pockets like this. So pockets came off. So other problems I had, the arm side bands. So they give you how much to cut, you know, the proper piece for an arm side band. And I have to say, a lot of people have had other issues with it. I found it way too long. So I think, what did I write down? Yeah, I've shortened it by 1.5 inches, the arm side bands, and had to keep working on that, sort of taking it off, stretching it a bit more, because otherwise it sticks out like this. It'll all become clear when I show you in a minute the result. So that was another problem, and I know a lot of people had a similar problem with that, but the more I kept reducing it in, obviously it tilted down, so that made it look so much better. So I think the thing now is to actually put this on the mannequin and see what you think. So here we have my finished Evanston vest. It is not exciting. I'm going to describe this piece of garment. It's just a useful piece of garment. It is not a fashion statement, but it adds a layer of warmth. When you don't need a cardigan, you just need a little bit of warmth. This will be perfect. It is not glamorous. It is not, it's not pretty in any way. It is functional. So that's the back. I did the band at the bottom, and as you can see, every time you do something like this with a knit, you can get that wobbling effect. But by the time I'd finished this project, I wasn't worried. The bands around the front actually came out really nicely. Didn't have any gathering there at all, and actually the size was spot on for that. But as I just said earlier, the arm side bands, so it didn't stick out like that, I had to bring in. So as you can see, they're kind of tilting up and tilting in, and they're fine now, but I did have to take a lot off. Why hasn't it got buttons, you ask? That is because, try as I might on some test fabric with the same layers that has, even with stabilizer in this band, there was no way my Juki was going to do buttonholes. Now my Juki is good at buttonholes, but absolutely not. No matter which buttonhole design I chose, even the wide one, it was having none of it. So I honestly don't think I would ever button it up anyway, because it looks too old manny, especially in beige. I chose beige. Why did I do that? So I'm going to wear it open. And funnily enough, I was wearing this, and I know this is not the best fitting top I've ever made. In fact, I made it a couple of months ago, and I said I was going to change it because I didn't like it the way it was all fitting here. It was a quick sew jumper I made, and I'm wearing it, and I know it's badly fitted. But the funny thing is, I was wearing this and I just wanted to feel a bit warmer, and this is what I grabbed. So that is how it's going to be useful to me. It's not glamorous, but it adds a layer of warmth, which we all need, don't we? It's a functional item. Now, I have to say, please go and watch Izzy from Dizzy Quilts and Sews, because she came across the same sort of problems that I did, but also potentially a fault in the pattern. I kind of followed the instructions, but not, which is a bit naughty. If I'm doing a pattern review, really I should follow the instructions to the letter. But because every time I don't print them off and I have to go back to my phone, I tend to kind of wing a lot of it. But for me, the instructions were okay. The only thing I did extra, and I will just show you, what was going to naturally happen is this will tilt out to the front. So I hand stitched this all down. So hand stitched that down to there, because I thought maybe if the seam was there, it would push it out more. So I've just kind of neatened it and hand sewed it there, and obviously you don't see it on that side. So that's kind of the only thing I did extra. Didn't put a label in it. I've just serged the insides. Luckily I had beige, so that's perfect. It's a very soft, it'll be a very warm garment. I'll put it on for you. Obviously I've got the video of me actually wearing it. Then I tried to style it with something else for you. It's really hard to style because it is what it is, and it's cozy. It just adds that little bit of layering on your back. So do I like the pattern? That is the big question. I have to say it was a cheap pattern. It's useful. I made it up, and I'm quite happy with it. Would I make it again? No, I wouldn't. The funny thing was I had completely forgotten I had made a similar item last year, which was this one, Simplicity 9374. And as you can see, it is kind of the same pattern. One of the Evanston vest views actually has like a roll neck here, but apart from that, it's very similar. And I had forgotten I had made this. I will get it to show you, because I actually think it looks better. Now, this was made out of a jumper I bought from a charity shop. It was one of the challenges last year to do something, refashion something. So it did come out really well, and it was a real experiment. I used bits and bobs from the jumper all over the place to kind of create, or so this bit here was a hemband, and these were bits of the sleeve. So I was really pleased with this, and as you can see, it had the buttons, it had the most perfect buttons, and even I managed to get the buttons on my machine on that, but sadly not on this. So if I was going to ever make a vest again, I think this is the vest for me. The instructions will be better, more what I'm used to. I think it came out better. It's got exactly the same hemband at the bottom, as you can see. There's just something about it just looks a little more feminine, I think. Maybe it's just the fabric or the way I finished it off. But yeah, maybe it just comes down off the shoulders a bit more than this one. But it was so funny that I came across this pattern and had forgotten about it. So I have told Izzy about this pattern, so we shall have to wait and see what she gets up to. So I hope you enjoy my kind of review about the Evanston vest. A lot of people have had great success with it. This is my personal view. It fits nicely, and it's, as you can see, it's soft and warm, and actually I'm probably not going to take it off now. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you join me again soon in my sewing room for whether it's #FridaySews or my lovely fabric wheel of fate, which I love doing that series so much. If you don't know what that is, I'll put the links down below. Thanks again. Please go and check out Izzy. I can't wait to see how she got on. Bye bye for now.